I came to Tokyo to make a game inspired by Tokyo, but when I first got here, I couldn't even start. I had no choice but to spend a month finishing and shipping the last game that I was working on. So I only had 2 months left to make the Tokyo game before I'd be legally obligated to get the fuck out of Japan. When creatives talk about the muse, they usually conjure up an image of a woman that is beautiful, probably a little sexualized, and with an air of mystery about her. But for me, the muse is often a space. Similar to the ethereal cutie with a booty, the spaces that inspire me are beautiful and have their own mysterious energy. A few years ago, on a trip to Japan, I visited a bookstore, the Tsutaya Books in Daikanyama, also known as Tea Site. It was winter. I was with my friends. We arrived at night and the bookstore had a light bustle of people lounging, drinking hot cocoa and coffee, reading, typing away at their laptops, letting their minds wander and getting lost in the low murmur. I was entranced by the architecture itself, that it was 3 separate buildings and with second floor bridges and a vibey lounge filled with leather couches, art on the walls, and big chic coffee table books. That this bookstore sold a lot more than just books, that they offered artisan makings as well, like clothes and fountain pens, art, and fancy boozes. Wandering around for a couple hours with my friends that night and getting some cute gifts for my loved ones back home, not just the bookstore, but the experience of being there has really stuck with me over the years. I wanted to capture this experience in a game, and I wasn't sure what that meant. That's a pretty high bar to match the energy, the emotional weight of a fond memory. It might even be an impossible task. You might call it an artistic suicide mission. Now, on an infinite timeline, maybe I deliver the goods, but in case you didn't know, I didn't have an infinite timeline. I had 60 days. So I brainstormed. I came at it from all sorts of different angles. Are you a customer at this bookstore? Or do you work here? Is this bookstore a real place? Or does it exist in some other plane of existence or in the mind? Are you reading these books? Do you collect them? Maybe you run around and jump between them like a platformer. Maybe it's about the people at this bookstore. Maybe you talk to all the interesting people. Maybe you get to know the people through the books that they read. Maybe you shape people by the books you recommend to them. So many of these things sounded interesting, but nothing ever really felt like it was capturing that elusive feeling that I was looking for. Maybe I was too in my head about it. So I just figured I should open up Unity and Blender and start building the world, to start prototyping systems and just get a feel of what the game could be and just trust that it could grow from there. If nothing came together in a few days, I would be wasting valuable dev time. So I set a deadline for myself. So if I didn't have a strong lead by then, I would just move on to the next idea. Because what I really did not want was to be working on the Tokyo game somewhere that is not Tokyo. I did some basic layouts of the space, got the bookshelves in, spent some time figuring out what the character models should look like, because like so many of my games, I needed to fill my world with NPCs. Some of my brainstorming led me to movies that I could steal from to turn their story points into mechanics in my own game. But now that I was building the thing, I thought, well, why not take their aesthetics as well? So I experimented with some black and white options and some posturizing effects in the shadows. I made a character controller and played around with the ways to make it feel dreamy. There's this delay and easing that happens with both the look controls and the move controls. I experimented with different field of view settings and was really liking how an extremely low field of view felt. Your imagination filled in the gaps of what was outside of your incredibly limited peripheral vision. The feeling of the game was really coming together, but I still didn't really know what the player would actually be doing. I figured maybe I just need to get a dialogue system in there, write up some mock-up conversations that feel right, to see if that inspired anything. And while that was fun to write, and it definitely piqued my curiosity, again, I was just feeling a little aimless in this project. I remember getting to the night of my deadline and thinking, in another life maybe, if I just had more time, this bookstore project could get the attention that it deserves. But after a week of trying to give shape to such an amorphous thing, I had less than 2 months to make this game about Japan in Japan. So I shelved the project, but I knew exactly which project I was gonna try to tackle next. A very nerdy game. A game about building PCs and competing in underground CPU overclocking fights in early 2000s Akihabara.